Hey everybody, welcome back to the Ketodontist Podcast. This is your host, Dr. Matt Standridge, and thank you so much for being back here again. Another week, another show. And again, thank you so much for being here. Super excited to talk with you today. It's going to be a bit of a doozy today. There's a lot of shenanigans going on that I kind of wanted to talk about and kind of get off my chest. So before we get into that, if you're a first-time listener, welcome. I am a practicing dentist in rural Kansas, but I also have a love for whole foods, low-carb, ketogenic diets. I think a well-formulated low-carb diet fit around whole foods is the most perfect dental diet, and one that's going to save us from prevent cavities and oral disease. And the way that I look at it is if sugar and grains literally are the largest fuel source for dental disease. And if it's doing that to the hardest substance our body produces, our tooth enamel is over 2.5 times stronger than bone. And if it's leading to a breakdown process of that, it's probably going to have downstream effects elsewhere in the body as well. So that's my elevator pitch for my stance in a nutshell. And also, I track my own journey because I have battled obesity since a child. I started becoming obese around 6 years old, morbidly obese, and then I lost weight in using Atkins about 20 years ago or so, and then I got off the low-carb train, gained a lot of it back. Now the last 7 years or so, I've been back losing weight again. So this is also kind of my own personal journey and story as well. And so, yeah, that's where we're at. And then also, for those of you who don't know, I am also a certified personal trainer and health coach, and I do some online training and coaching. So if you're interested, my company for that, who is a sponsor for this show, is called Dental Fit. And you can learn more. If you're interested in options or just chatting with me, shoot me an email at ketodontst@gmail.com, and I'll get back to you when I can and just kind of send some forms and a little bit of discovery onboarding to see if I think we'd be a good fit and whether or not I can help your situation or not. So anyways, that's about it. For those of you who listened to last week, you guys know that I'm doing 75 hard. Today is actually day 14, and things are going pretty well. Still having to go to the bathroom all the damn time because of drinking so much water. But my ketovore, my keto carnivore diet has been going great. Basically, I love the workouts. I love starting my day off with 45 minutes of cardio outdoors in the morning and then 45 minutes of lifting in the evening. Absolutely love it. I'll probably just keep that up indefinitely after 75 hard's done. The only damn thing that I dislike about it is the gallon of water because I'm having to go to the bathroom all the time. But anyways, but yeah, no, things are still going great there. I'm on day 14 and just trucking right along. So what I wanted to talk about today, okay, is basically there is so much BS going on right now with the push for fake meats and plant-based products, highly processed fake plant products, and there's a big war on meat going on. I've been accused of being alarmist about there's not a war on meat. Bullshit, there isn't. I mean, there absolutely is. And anybody who says they're not, I don't know how to respond to it. It's like, how do you talk to somebody with their head literally in the sand? Like, I don't know what more we could do other than just constantly showing proof that yes, there is a war on meat, especially beef, because apparently cow farts are to be more feared than the elitist class jumping on, their private jets to avoid 40 minutes of traffic like Kim Kardashian did. She's she's the taste expert or whatever for Beyond Burger, and this is such a great product to reduce our emissions. Yet she hops on a private jet to make a 10-minute flight so that way she can avoid 45 minutes of traffic. This is the absurdity that we're dealing with right now. And Bill Gates with his man boobs is like buying up all of this land so that way he can push fake meat products and control food production. This stuff is going on. And, not to go down the rabbit hole so much, but we've got to kind of wake up to it and let it be known that this is not going to fly. And then also we need to vote with our dollars and support local ranchers, local farmers, people who are doing things the right way, farms that are using regenerative agriculture practices that actually heal our land, heal our soil, create more biodiversity in the soil, and help the situation. But apparently, cow farts, for some reason, are just damaging the planet, but shopping for your strawberries and your avocados that are shipped halfway across the world when they're not in season and doing that all year. No, that's no problem. It's the cow farts and belches that are ruining the planet. Are you freaking serious? That's what's going on right now. And so this first thing I wanted to talk about was actually came out about last year from Duke University. And let me bring it up here. And so basically there was a research team that did a deeper examination, and you can look it up. It was reported. The report that I read was in Science Daily. I will have the link in the show notes. But the title of it is Lab Analysis Finds Near Meat and Meat Are Not Nutritionally Equivalent. Well, duh. That's a shocker right there, isn't it? This is my shocked face. And so it's a researchers' team deeper examination into the nutritional content of plant-based meat alternatives using metabolomics, which shows that they're different as plants. They're as different as plants and animals. Well, no duh. One's made from plants, one made from animals. And so beef contained 22 metabolites that were different, that the plant substitute did not. And then the plant-based substitute contained 31 metabolites that meat did not. And so then it turned out the greatest distinctions occurred in amino acids, dipeptides, vitamins, phenols, and types of saturated and unsaturated fatty acids that were used in this product. Okay. So my question is, does any of this shock you? I'm going to read a few of the excerpts from the report. Quote, meat substitute manufacturers have gone to great lengths to make the plant-based product as meaty as possible, including adding legumoglobin, an iron-carrying molecule from soy, and red beet, berries, and carrot extracts to simulate bloodiness. That sounds delicious. The texture of near meat is thickened by adding indigestible fibers like methyl cellulose. And to bring the plant-based meat alternatives up to the protein levels of meat, they use isolated plant proteins from soy, peas, and other plant sources. Some meat substitutes also add vitamin B12 and zinc to further replicate meat's nutrition. To consumers reading nutritional labels, they may appear nutritionally interchangeable, said Stefan van Vliet, a postdoctoral researcher from Duke Molecular Physiology Institute, who led the research. But if you peek behind the curtain using metabolomics and look at expanded nutritional profiles, we found that there are large differences between meat and plant-based meat alternatives. Yeah, that makes sense. The greatest distinctions occurred in amino acids, like I talked about, dipeptides, vitamins, so on and so forth. Several metabolites known to be important to human health were found either exclusively or in greater quantities in beef, including creatine, sparamine, acerine, cysteamine, glucosamine, squalene, and omega-3 fatty acid DHA. Yes, beef does have some omega-3 fatty acid DHA. Maybe not as much as fish, as salmon. I still love, even though I'm currently doing carnivore right now, I still throw in fish. I'm not beef exclusive. But these nutrients have potential important physiological, anti-inflammatory, and immunomodulatory roles, said the author. The author said in the paper. So, in a nutshell, eat more meat. And think about this. What has more systems built into it? Like what has more inherent pollution built into it? Cows eating grass under the sun, or monocrop cultures with all of the tractors that go into mowing down those fields and and bundling them up and processing, all of the synthetic fertilizers, all of the synthesizing of the synthetic fertilizers, all of the system inputs that have to go into that, and then truck that fertilizer to the fields, and then the mechanical spraying of the fields, and the reapplying, and the death that happens to the insects and the rodents, and the ecosystem, the biodiversity of the soil that gets destroyed, the tillage that happens with the soil, and then taking those monocrops, transporting them to other places, all of the process that has to happen on the back end, and then to make lab meat like this, all of the further process that has to happen on top of that, and all of the energy and all of the gas and all of the fuel sources and all that stuff going in. Does it make any sense compared to ruminants who don't need all of this bullshit thrown into the system? They literally work with the system. They heal the system. And they're using rainfall, grass, which we can't eat. We can't break down cellulose, but they're amazing creatures. They eat cellulose, this indigestible fiber that we can't eat, and they turn it into wonderful nutrition for humans. That is amazing. That's an amazing system. And yet the elitist class wants to get rid of it. Are you freaking kidding me? So that is what's going on. And not to sound conspiracy theorist, but guys, you have to look at it from a corporatist mindset. You know, everybody talks about, capitalism being, evil. It's not. What we have is not capitalism. It's corporatism. It's big corporations and governments getting together in bed and producing this hellspawn that we see before us. And that is what is going on. It's corporatism. It's crony capitalism. This is not free market stuff. And so you have these corporations, you have General Mills, you have Kellogg's, you have all this stuff, all these people, or corporations, I say, that lobby big governments, and Monsanto gets all these government contracts, and now they're buying up land. And because what's the one thing? Lex Luthor even said this back in the original Superman, right? Land is the most precious resource because it's the one thing they're not making any more of. So they want to control the land, and then they want to control the food because we all have to eat. That is why the ultra wealthy, like your James Camerons, your Bill Gateses, all these plant-based product people are pushing, because they want to buy up the land and they want to control the food systems, because that locks in customers. You have unlimited wealth if you control the land and if you control the food. And so that's what's going on, guys. And then I'm going to step off my soapbox with that. And I'm going to tie that in with another thing that if you've been following me on Instagram and on Twitter, Instagram at Dr. Matthew Standridge, Twitter at Ketodontist. And you have been probably seeing that I've been posting about my red line diet. And if you don't know where that originally was from, well, this is where it's at. So Nina Teicholz over at Big Fat Surprise had tweeted this post saying, I'd like to feel optimistic about the White House Conference on Nutrition in September, but the guy in charge created this food ranking system. And she linked to what's called this food compass. Now, this thing is ridiculous, and you might have seen the picture of it. But basically, the simplified graph is basically a food ranking system, starting with the best, what they consider the best on top, and then works its way down. And they have a scale from 100, I assume, down to 0. And 100, which these bars showing the graph, if they're in green, that's good. Yellow is it for a moderation, and red is foods to avoid. And I'm going to go down that list real quick. So at a perfect 100% score, you have watermelon. The very next line is kale. So these are great green foods so far. The very next one reported with a score of 87 is frosted mini wheats. Literally sugar and grain. Frosted mini wheats. No protein. All processed, 100% processed. Frosted mini wheats is the third in line with it at 87. Unsweetened almond milk at 86. Now listen, I like almond milk. I use it when I'm cutting calories. I'll use it rather than creamer, heavy cream. But the thing is, there's a lot of processing. There's a lot of water usage that goes into these almonds, and a lot of processing. It is not environmentally sound practice to drink almond milk. Okay, so just call it for what it is. The fourth is non-fat frozen yogurt with a score of 80. Chocolate covered almonds come in at 78, and orange juice with calcium come in at 78. All processed crap so far. I don't hate the non-fat frozen yogurt. But if it's frozen yogurt, it sounds like they're trying to make it like a treat, like frozen ice cream. The non-fat but loaded with sugar frozen yogurt. That's disgusting. Honey Nut Cheerios is green at 76, and dates are at green at 76. Now we're going to get into the yellows. Sweet potato fries or chips at 69, millet at 65, egg substitute fried in vegetable oil, 62, skinless chicken breast, 61, Lucky Charms with a 60, whole wheat bread at a 60, canned pineapple in heavy syrup, meaning sugar, 51. Boiled or poached egg, 51. Whole milk is 49. Almond M&Ms is 43. Non-fat mozzarella cheese at 42. Ice cream cone with nuts at 34. That's the end of the yellows. Now we're into the reds. With a nutritional score of 29. Whole egg fried in butter. So you're going to say, so let's jump back up to the yellow here. Egg substitute fried in vegetable oil. So much processing going in on that. So much environmental pollution going into that. And that has a score of 62. Yet whole eggs fried in butter, minimal ecological systems going into that. And it's a food that's been around for hundreds of years. It has a score of 29. It's in the red. Cheddar cheese comes in at 28 in the red, and then ground beef at 26. So these reds need to be minimized. So I think it's funny because, so frosted mini wheats and Lucky Charms are more healthy for you than whole eggs. That's amazing. Honey Nut Cheerios are better for you than egg fried in butter. Almond M&Ms are better for you than ground beef. Guys, this is asinine. And this is the type of lobbying, these are the type of reports that have the ear of the president and of Congress and of the Senate. It's the same BS that happened with the McGovern Commission back in, the 70s or 80s? I can't remember exactly what year. It's the same BS. And the McGovern Commission, while maybe well-intended, set us up for disastrous results for the health of this country. The same thing is happening and still going to happen. If we don't stand up and let it be known that we're not tolerating this. This is what's going on. So I'm going to end that today is just basically to try to make people aware of what's going on. And I encourage you, hey, try a red line diet for this next week. That's what I've been doing while on 75 Hard doing this ketovore thing. My breakfast, since I've discovered this food compass, I'm going okay, in the latest Marvel movie or the latest Doctor Strange movie, they go to a universe and he about starts walking across the street and they have a green light, but all the traffic's going. And then he learns, in some universes, red means go. Well, we might be that universe where red means go, because my breakfast is a red line breakfast. It's 5 whole eggs cooked in butter. My lunch is anywhere between 8 to 16 ounces of ground beef. That's my lunch. And I feel fantastic. And I've dropped 9 pounds since starting this. And so I challenge you, if you're wanting to do the keto carnivore type thing, live in the red this next week. Make all your foods around whole eggs and beef and see what happens. So anyways, guys, take care. I hope you have a great week. This next week, I want to get into something I just don't have time to talk about today, and that's conflicts of interest in these nutritional guideline experts. There is a new report showing that the experts, quote unquote, who were in charge of the 2020 nutritional guidelines here in the U.S., 95% of them had conflicts of interest, tying back to Kellogg's and General Mills and Nestle and, all of that stuff. So I don't have time to talk about it today. We're going to talk about on the next show. But you guys, until then, take care, get out and move, sleep well, smile, and I will see you later.